Andrew, as far as a narrative around retail traders, one other thing I find very interesting. 18 months ago, we would all throw up our hands on Wall Street and say, oh, my God, the retail trader, households aren't participating. Why aren't households participating in the market? Now households are very much participating in the market, and all I hear is, I can't believe all these people are doing this. So the one story that's not being told here is we are seeing unbelievable business. There's no question about that. But we're also seeing a 3x participation in our education. With the number one thing that people are looking up is fundamentals of stock investing. Are there some people making bad decisions? Of course. There are always going to be people who make bad decisions. But by far, I think what's happened is people have time to actually look at their investments for maybe the first time ever and understand not only what they're trading, but hopefully their 401ks, et cetera, if they don't. And what we're seeing is actually some.
Hey, JJ,
everyone wants to talk about. Go ahead, Andrew.
Just to respond to this, I want to bring Brian back into the conversation just because we had been having the conversation before we began ours, and I know he has a thought and wants to bring it in. Brian?
Yeah. Thank you, Andrew. I was sort of waiting. JJ, I love you, but I'm not. No accusations. I wanted to be clear in what I was saying, and it's early, and maybe my mouth isn't working right.
Yeah.
Totally. Everything is above board. What I was trying to imply, and obviously I did a terrible job, was simply that because the way the order flow works, it can push these stocks either up or down a lot faster than it normally would. Because let's say I want to buy 500 shares of Sorkin Corporation or whatever, and Citadel sees others.
Doesn't everyone
on Citadel either? I'm just saying it. And they exactly. And they see that order flow coming from a lot of retail investors. Maybe they buy 5 million shares, not because they're front running or doing anything illegal, but simply because they can see the way the wind of investments is going, and it works up and down. So all I was trying to suggest was, because this is all set up and it's all above board, was that it might be the reason for these extreme price movements because of that. Is that a fair statement? Yes or no?
Well, what I would say, so is I'm never going to speak for another firm. But the experience we have, Citadel being one of them, has been phenomenal. And as I said, everything is very highly regulated. How anyone else runs their business, I can't speak for. But I will say our experiences have been very good.
Let me bring Mike into the conversation. Mike, do you think there's any, I mean, clearly there's money to be made, or somebody's making money trading these bankrupt or zombie companies.
Yeah.
The question is, how dangerous do you think a game it is?
There's obviously some reckless stuff going on, people less informed, but I also think it has to do with the moment we're in the markets. If you think about it, so many companies were driven down to prices, stocks were driven down to prices where it implied a high probability they were going to go extinct or that the equity was going to get wiped out. A lot of them got lifelines. The credit markets became refreshed, and you got, government support for airlines. And so if you looked at Macy's or American Airlines or Carnival Cruise Lines, they were on the brink, and then they soared multiples of what their low price was. So my point is that it's sort of an extension and an extreme version of what's been going on in the market in general, where companies are getting reborn, and we thought they were on the brink, and then they came away from the brink. Now, I think multiple things can happen at once, which is you have this sort of pocket of hyperactive trader activity. It's sort of feeding on itself. A lot of things came together at once: zero commissions, people staying home, everything people have mentioned. But on the other side, more traditional investors have been very skeptical of this rally. Flows in terms of equity funds, traditional flows have not been strong. So it's hard to extrapolate what's going on in this pocket of the market and say everybody's too bullish, the market's too crazy as a whole, and therefore it says something grand about where we go from here in terms of the overall indexes.